I've been absolutely loving the way the Battle Medic plays in Boss Key's new first-person shooter, Lawbreakers. Let's take a look at, as a new player, how best you can use it, and how to be as effective as possible with it. Let's get started. First, we'll start off with Medic's primary weapon. They have a grenade launcher with 6 rounds in magazine and a fairly quick travel time. It deals well over 100 damage on a direct hit, and with its primary fire, it'll explode on direct impact with the first surface it touches, dealing respectable AoE damage. If you right-click with this weapon, the grenades are instead placed on a timer, bouncing around wherever they're fired and exploding shortly thereafter. The grenades will still detonate on direct hits regardless of the firing mode, which is nice. If you're in a 1 versus 1 fight mid-air against somebody in a no-gravity zone, I would definitely recommend going for right clicks as opposed to left clicks if there's no walls nearby and you're literally just trying to fish and get that air shot on them, because if you miss, you could still get lucky with a bounce, and that grenade that is just going in some random direction might still hit an enemy and do some damage to them. However, if you're left-clicking, then that grenade is doomed to just hit some random wall and explode completely harmlessly. So it's something to keep in mind, something that you might want to try to do. Now, this is absolutely an extremely minor nitpick of your gameplay, but it's something that's at least worth thinking about. When this idea works, then hey, you got free damage, awesome. And if it doesn't work, well, I mean, you didn't hurt yourself, right? If you're ever right-clicking somebody when you should be left-clicking because there's a wall nearby and you could have been splashing them and you screwed up and you used the wrong firing mode and couldn't splash them, that's your fault. That's not the gun's fault, that's just you choosing the wrong firing mode. So really, if you just focus intently upon which firing mode that you're using and try to make smart decisions with that, you could theoretically min-max the modes that you're using based upon the engagement that you have. It's really, really fun to try to figure these things out when you're actually playing the game and learning the hero. Medic is also one of the many characters in this game with a secondary weapon, and this one is absolutely nuts. Your pistol fires 3 projectiles at a time in a triangle pattern in 4-round bursts. 1 left click while using this weapon will give you 12 projectiles, also with very quick travel time and capable of dealing quite a lot of damage. Each projectile deals 10 damage within its effective range, and they do seem to drop off by a few points of damage at longer ranges. The lowest that I've seen with the normal gameplay is 8 damage per round. This pistol, if fired at maximum fire rate, holds 4 bursts before overheating. However, if you space out your shots by mixing in melee attacks or swapping back and forth between your grenade launcher and this pistol, you will almost never actually overheat this weapon and therefore never have to go through that pseudo reload animation. A friend of mine turned me on to the idea of using this pistol at close range and alternating between burst, melee, blah blah blah, and boy was he right. Using this technique, I have been able to 1 versus 1 lesser Titan players and win fights I have absolutely zero business actually winning. So I strongly recommend that you give this one a shot when the opportunity presents itself. Trust me, it will come in handy during those frantic moments where everyone is trying to stand on top of an objective and the game turns into a bloodbath. You will benefit from this. Obviously, by this point, I'm sure you've noticed that the combat medic is equipped with a jetpack. This allows her to glide forwards, backwards, and side to side for a very long period of time at whichever elevation that she chooses. By holding the jump button, she will boost herself upwards, and if you want to go down, you simply disengage the jetpack by briefly pressing shift, and then pressing it once more once you are at the desired height. In zero gravity zones, holding spacebar will rocket your medic up into orbit extremely quickly, so try not to jar your aim too much when transitioning to one of those spaces on the map. I know that I've done it many times and it's very, very confusing, so just be aware of where you're located and when you're going to start going up very slowly or if you're going to rocket up by holding spacebar. Once you get comfortable with how to move in 3D space, both with and without this jetpack, you're going to become a nightmare to actually kill in no gravity zones, all the while dealing fantastic damage with your secondary weapon and oftentimes beating out lesser players that don't respect you enough. The main reason you're playing this character though is for that sweet, sweet healing drone. This drone works sort of like Zenyatta's Orb of Healing from Overwatch. Simply point at a teammate and press E to fire a drone off at them. Once the drone arrives, it begins healing them, but it also provides a pretty beefy shield instantly upon the healing starting, which will really help your teammates survive in situations that they have no business surviving in. You have 2 charges of this ability that recharge 1 at a time, and you can always see how many drones you have ready by looking at the top of your screen and seeing how many drones are hanging out there ready to go. Battle Medic's ultimate creates a wall of force that stops all direct fire from penetrating it and healing all allies within it over a short period of time. Now, this shield doesn't stop everything. All players can freely walk into and out of it, and splash damage will travel through the shield as if it's not even there. So you can use this to your advantage with the primary fire of your grenade launcher to outposition any would-be attackers trying to kill you up close. In addition, this ultimate ability will also push away any enemies that are within a short radius around you when you activate it. So as the ball expands around you, enemies are pushed away along with it. It's a very, very interesting mechanic, and she's one of the only heroes in the game with something like this. This ultimate is on a 90-second cooldown, but you should never be afraid to actually use it. It's a very, very powerful ability that you can't be sitting on for too long. You've got to use it and give your team the fighting edge that they need. Sometimes it's not horrible to pop it solo in a 1 versus 1 just to keep yourself alive if it means that your team can come back and back you up, get a pick on somebody, and then they can push in on the enemy base immediately thereafter in a 5 versus 4 and seize control of their base and therefore the objective in that way. It's not pretty and it's not the best idea. It's not something that you should ever be looking to do or going out of your way to do, but in a pinch, if you have to do it, it's not terrible if you have the team to back you up when you do it. It could be alright sometimes. Remember, you are a battle medic, not some wimpy healer relegated to the back lines. You can absolutely get up in people's faces and be aggressive towards them, with the help of some teammates of course, and you can deal crazy damage while making your teammates all but unkillable at the same time. This has very quickly become my favorite class in the game to play, and I hope that some of these tips can help you to appreciate what a lovely character this has turned out to be. That said guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you've learned something new. Make sure you leave any comments, questions, strategies, whatever you have down in the comment section down below, because this does not end with the video. I want everyone to continue talking about this character. We'll make this kind of a one-stop shop for all the things that you need to know and want to learn about Battle Medic. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.